Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Lilu Nishmas Imi Merasi Ruspas Mordechai. Says the Gemara. 10 lines from the bottom, Tzadik Tes on the base. Shal ben Dama ben Achoyses Rabbi Shmuel is Rabbi Shmuel. Rabbi Shmuel's nephew asked him, if you're going ani, Shalamaditi Kol Torah Kulo. So he asked Rabbi Shmuel, I learned the entire Torah. So there's a few things we have to understand here that we probably won't understand. What does it mean I learned the whole Torah? Who learns the whole Torah? How can you possibly learn the whole Torah? Okay, I learned the whole Torah. Ma'u lilmoid chachmas yivanis. Can I learn the chachma yivanis? So he wants to know, can I sit back and relax? I learned all of Torah, so now I want to learn some. Today they have the apps. You can learn Spanish in a few days. You can learn this. I want to learn something. I want to learn chess. What do? Kara all of amikra azeh. He says absolutely not. Lo yom sheva Torah zeh mepicha v'gis v'yom v'layla. Find the time that's not day and night. Then that's when you should study it. So this is a shita. Rabbi Shmuel holds that v'gisa b'yom v'layla means you should be learning Torah day and night. All your available time you should be learning Torah. Upliga de Rabbi Shmuel ben Achmeni, he argues on Rabbi Shmuel ben Achmeni. Rabbi Shmuel ben Achmeni, Rabbi Yonason. Pasuk zena loy chayva v'loy mitzvah ela bracha. This pasuk is not a chiyuv to learn day and night. Rakosh Baruch Hu Yeshua. Shedivrei Torah chavivim olav b'yoser. He loves Torah so much. Shenemar mishorse Yeshua benun nar lo yomish mitoychoyel. He didn't stop learning Torah in the base medrash. Amalei Hakadosh Baruch Hu Yeshua kol kach chavim alecha divrei Torah. If that's the case, you love it so much. Lo yomish sefer Torah zeh mipich. I'm giving you a bracha that should continue. It's unbelievable. When you do something, you want something so bad, Hakadosh Baruch Hu gives you the bracha, you can continue. So we have 3 shitas. Yesterday we learned you should learn a little bit in the morning, a little bit in the night. Don't tell the Amaratzim that you could actually be yoytz with Kriya Shema, because then they'll take advantage of it if they have kavana. Shulchan Aruch says you're really not yoytz with Kriya Shema, unless you think during Kriya Shema that this is Talmud Torah, okay? And then we have the shita of Rabbi Shmuel, you should be learning day and night. And then we have the 3rd shita. But everybody agrees that there's a chiyuv to learn day and night, not in the day and in the night, just from right over here, this pasuk, there's other psukim also. We say in Kriya Shema, v'dibar tabam, v'shivtecha b'veisecha, v'lechtecha v'aderech. You should talk in Torah when you're walking, when you're going, when you get up. Akopanim, this pasuk, we have 3 shitas. This Madam says it's only a bracha. Learning should not be like you're forced to learn. Like you have to. A chayv. In other words, don't view Torah. There shouldn't be a trauma. Oh, you have to. The gun to your head. You learn Torah because you love to learn. You want to learn. You feel like it's geschmack. But at the same time, remember, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave a tzivut to learn Torah. But it shouldn't be like a chayv. We have a pasuk here that's very difficult to understand. It's a pasuk in Eov. They're not easy. And if he'll steer you mipitzar from a very narrow opening. Rachav, it's wide, it's narrow, it's wide. Loy mutzuk tachtea, it's not solid underneath. Says the Gemara, boy reish like midas HaKadosh Baruch Hu midas basav adam. HaKadosh Baruch Hu acts differently than a human being, obviously. Midas basav adam, the way human nature is. Other basis is chaverim dakichaim darchim misa. A friend is constantly telling his friend to do bad stuff, trying to convince him to do this, to do that. It's throwing him off the path. He sees a person not doing well. He tries to nudge him onto the path. He's trying to steer you away from that narrow opening, from that Gehenim, that its opening is very narrow. Its smoke of the Gehenim is stuck inside that pipe. Maybe the whole Gehenna is very narrow. As you get deeper in there, it gets wider and wider. You'll say, you know what? Gehenna is not for special people like Talmid Chacham that learn Torah. Talmid Chacham, who did something terrible, Talmid Loimar, Gam hi lamelech ucha. No. The Gehenna is there for everybody. Even a Talmud Chacham. There's not gesund to fire. Talmud Loimar, midurasa eish ve'etzim harbe. There's a lot of wood and fire. It's geschmack here.
You say that now.
V'shem ha'toymar ein ba'etzim Talmud lo imar medureish v'etzim harbe. V'shem ha'toymar zeu schara. You'll say, you know what? When you learn Torah, you get out of the Gehenim, but you don't get anything good. Talmud lo imar v'nachas shulchancha moli dasha. No, you're going to get Gan Eden. It's going to be unbelievable. You learn Torah. Those who learn Torah, like that guy that was nifter yesterday, Levi was yesterday, 46-year-old. He learned Torah. He has Gan Eden waiting for him. Chal Yom Kippurim leis b'Shabbos. We learned in the Mishnah, what if Yom Kippur falls out on Friday? And you have this carbon in the Beis HaMikdash that you make on Yom Kippur. One of the Sirim, and that's for human consumption. Some of them, the other one, the Sari Lazazel, his partner, you got to burn. But there's a Sari of Musaf, I think it was, you get to eat. So who eats it though? It's Yom Kippur, you can't eat it. So when do you eat it? You eat it on Matzah Yom Kippur, which is Friday night by the Suda, gefilte fish and raw meat, because you can't cook it. When you're gonna not on Yom Kippur, not on Shabbos. Who eats raw meat? The Bavliim. Omer Rabbi Bar Chana, Omer Rabbi Yochanan, loy Bavliim him. Hello, Alexandrian. These are Alexandrians. These are like Egyptians. They didn't like the Bavliim in Eretz Yisrael, so it was a derogatory name. You're a Bavli, but it really meant you're the Alexandri. These are people that eat raw meat. Tanya nami ochi, Rabbi Yossi Yomer lebavliim mele Alexandriim heim. Umetoich shesoinim es habavliim, koiroisem Hashem bavliim. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, tanuach daitcha shenachte daiti. Oh, I was so worried. You're calling me, my whole mishpacha, we're bavliim, and we think we're fressers, we eat raw meat? Siddur salechem b'Shabbos. Oh. So Rabbi Yisai, been learning a lot about the Shulchan. We're going to have to say goodbye to him today. The way it works is we put the bread, the lechem, on the shulchan on Shabbos, and the bezichin, the levayna, the frankincense, also on Shabbos. It stays there until the following Shabbos. Sidus halechem b'Shabbos v'sabezichim lachem haShabbos. So all the Mishnah is going to discuss different scenarios where he messed up. Instead of putting the lechem and the bezichin, the frankincense, the levayna, instead of putting it on Shabbos, he did one of them after Shabbos. Sidus halechem b'Shabbos, v'sabezichim lachem Shabbos, or both of them after Shabbos. Those are same cases. Instead of putting it on Shabbos, he put the levayna after Shabbos. V'hiktir es habezichim b'Shabbos, and he went along and he took the bezichin that he put on the shulchan on Sunday instead of Shabbos. He did one day late. And he put it on the table on Shabbos Pasal. That's called mechusar zman. It's missing time. What does it mean it's missing time? It's not the right time. He put it on the table on Sunday instead of Shabbos, so it's mechusar zman. It's Pasal. And once it's Pasal, so what's Pasal? What's Pasal? The bread is Pasal. The levayna is the bread's matter. They go together. In order to eat the bread, you need to put the levayna on the mizbeach. And you put something that's worthless on the mizbeach. It was only on the table for 7 days instead of 8. You're not chayav on this bread. Mishum pigol noisar v'tamei. Interesting. Today's parasha. Pigol chutzim koimai. There's no noisar. If you leave it over, you leave the lechem upon it for 2 weeks. There's no noisar. Why? Because it was never mutter to eat. There's no noisar on something that was never mutter to eat. And v'tamei. Let's say the kohen himself is tamei, and the kohen himself goes and touches this lechem upon him. He's not chayiv kares. All three of these are kares, right? The pigol, the noiser, the tamei. There's no tumah. Why? Because it's not something you could eat. And Memela, these things, we're going to say it again 3 times. See, this halechem is a bezichim b'Shabbos. What if he put it on the right day? But he removed it on the wrong day. He removed the bezichin on Sunday instead of waiting a whole week until the following Shabbos. Psula, it's possible. And therefore, you're not chayiv for pigul noise v'tamid. See this halachim is a bezichim l'achar Shabbos. If he set up the bread and the bezichim on Sunday instead of on Shabbos, the third case, very similar cases, it all has to do with Sunday. You put the bezichin on Sunday, he put the bread on Sunday, he put both on Sunday. The bread and the levina he put it on Sunday. And he waited until the following Shabbos, 7 days later. He put the bezichin on psula. So what should he do? How do you make this work? He put it on Sunday. Something happened. There was an emergency in the Beis Hamikdash. They didn't have bread. I don't know what. He put it on Sunday. So how does he make it work? So just a simple calendar. If he messed up and he put the breads on a Sunday instead of Shabbos all the way to the right, so the first Shabbos that comes along is not good enough. It's not enough days. So you wait until the second Shabbos. You have to go all the way over here. Givaldik. Now it turns out it's on the table for 14 days. It's okay. Why? Because you need what? 13 days. Whatever days. It gets confusing because if you put the bread on Sunday and you take it off on Sunday, that's 8 days. Right? Like a bris. Not awesome. Gishmak Sugya, we learned the Yuma. The second in command after the Kohen Gadol tells the Olam there, we're talking about the Korban Tamid. I love the Korban Tamid. It reminds me of Daf Yomi. Korban Tamid in the morning, every morning, he says, go see if the sun came out. In Megia, if he does see the sun, he says these words, Barkoi. In other words, there's sunrise. Hey, Rayoy. Matisyo ben Shmuel Oimer, hey, Bnei Kol HaMizrach Ad Shebechevron. Did it light up all the way to Chevron? And he said, yes. Check it out.
צאו וראו אם הגיע זמן שחיטה.
ברקאי! האיר פני כל המזרח עד שבחברון? הן.
Why do you need all this? One day, they saw the moon, but they thought it was the sun. They thought it was sunrise, it was already night. So they shechted the Korban Tamid. If you mess up, so you take it and you throw it in the garbage. There's a place called, in the Azara, there's a place called Beis HaSreifa. Also outside of the Beis HaMikdash is a place. Now we're talking about inside the Beis HaMikdash, inside the Azara. The Lashon Vayitziyu is a little interesting. They took it out. Okay, fine, but it's in the Beis HaMikdash. They burn it. In other words, worthless. This is the garbage can, kaviyachol, of things that you mess up with. Another halacha, not negea to, it's a continuation over there. The Kohen Gadol needs to toivel before he does the Tamid. And there was a rule. If you go to the bathroom, you relieve yourself gdoilim, ton tefillah. Crazy thing. Imagine a guy goes to the bathroom 3 times a day. He has to mikvah 3 times. You just went for ktanim, ton kiddush yadayim reglaim. That you have to go to the kiyar, which is also, it's a little bit more than what we do. You have to wash your feet and hands in that position. Foot on top of foot. So this line that we're about to read here is very important for the sugya. So just focus on this line. It's not only that animal that you shechted in the middle of the night instead of during the day that you have to burn. There's 2 other things. If a kohen did melika, shechted melika of the bird at night, which you're not supposed to, burn it. Put it in that Beis HaSreifa pile. So we'll focus on this one. On a mincha that you did kmitza, you took a handful at night. You're not supposed to do it at night. So what do you do with what's in your hand? Put it in the Beis HaSreifa. It says Gemara, Bishloima oilas oif. If you knock its head off. Mishum d'le'ev shel ha'adura. You can't reattach its head. So there's nothing you can do about it, so you burn it. I don't understand what the problem is. But the problem is, ask the Gemara, I don't understand. What is the problem? Take the flour. Restart. Do over. Says Gemara, he asked the question, he answers the question. You see from here, like Noam said, that once you put the kmitza into the klisharis, it gives a kedusha even at night. The Gemara had to tell us a chiddush. Meisvei, but let me ask you a question. I'm going to show you a brisa that says the exact opposite, that it doesn't give kedusha at night. And in fact, the Gemara goes with this. So Naomi might not have been right over here. Meisvei, kol ha'korev b'yoyim kodesh b'yoyim. Anything that's done during the day in the Beis HaMikdash gets kedusha during the day. Like what? Like everything. Like every single carbon. Balayla, kodesh balayla. Things that you only do at night. Now, here you're going to have to struggle to come up with something. What do you do at night? Rashi says in Sachem. So the Shittim Kubetzis changes it and he says, he means to say, the other Rishonim also is talking about the oil for the menorah, because that we just learned the other day. The only thing that is at night is the oil in the menorah. That's the only thing. Bein b'yoyim, bein b'layla, something that you could do in both during the day, like in the Sachem, in Murim. Kaddish, bein b'yoyim, bein b'layla. Then the Kedusha is chal during the day and the night. Akol panim, kol kar b'yoyim, kaddish b'yoyim. What's a mincha? Something that you do during the day. So when does it receive Kedusha? Only during the day. It's a big kasha. How, when a kohen messes up and does a kmitza at 2 a.m, it has zero Kedusha. Why? Because it's something you do during the day. And at night it doesn't receive Kedusha. I don't care if it has a klisharis or not. Says Gemara, you're 100% right. And in Kaddish the Karev, what I said, that it doesn't have Kedusha, I meant to say that it doesn't have enough Kedusha that you can put it onto the Mizbeach. Possible, it gave it a little bit of Kedusha, this Klisharis, in the middle of the night, then now it becomes possible with Lina, or if a Tuliyam touches it, it makes it Tameh. But you're right, it doesn't give it the real Kedusha, it gives it a little bit. So what do we do with our Mishnah? It says in our Mishnah that if you put the bread on the table, the lechem upon on the table right on Sunday, and you put the levina onto the Mizbeach 7 days later on Shabbos, psula, it's possible. Okay, so Yasa, what should you do? You should leave it, like in this calendar, let's just have the calendar up for a second. Leave it for a second Shabbos. In other words, it's on the table with 13, 14 days. The Mishnah tells us it doesn't matter if it's on the table for a long time. As the Gemara, what's the shulchan? Rabbi says shulchan is a klishares. And it could be mekadosh. You tell me it could be mekadosh even at night, a little bit. They should become puzzle for Lina. So now you had the bread on the shulchan. Overnight, for a long time, for 8 days. So it should make it kadosh, shlei bizmano, and it should be puzzle. Ligdosh, v'livso. It should become kadosh and then become puzzle because it was Lina. Your question that you just asked me, Reb Zera, is beautiful. But you brought me a mefurish brisa that says that if I do kmitza at night, shaloi bizmano, I have to burn it. In other words, from our mission, it's mashma that there's no kedusha at night. And you brought me a raya that there is a kedusha at night because if you do kmitza at 2 a.m, you have to burn it. You have to burn it means there is some kedusha. And our mission says there's no kedusha. You should have to burn the lechem upon him according to what you're telling me. So we have a contradiction here. What do we do? Very simple. Laila imchuz zman. What happened? You did kmitza at 2 a.m. 2 a.m. is actually like 7 a.m. When do you go? When does a kid become bar mitzvah? The night before. In Judaism, the day starts at night. So when you went and you put the kmitza onto the mizbeach a few hours before you're supposed to, it's not like you're in left field. You're part of that day. That night is part of the following day. So Mamela gives it a psul. Laila imchuz zman. It's not considered night. It's not considered you did it the wrong day. It's part of that day. But over here on this calendar, you messed up on a few days. You can't say, you put the lechem upon him on a Tuesday. It's kilu. You put it on Shabbos. No, it's too far away. Ask the Gemara, very good. But what happened? Look at this calendar. He put the bread onto the shulchan on where it's red. Rishon Beiziyar. When is he taking it off? 14 days later, 13 days later, let's call it, on Shabbos, all the way at the end. The first Shabbos, it becomes Kaddish. And then when the second Shabbos rolls around, that's when it should become puzzle. When are they going to eat it? Shabbos morning with the chalt. But the problem is by the gefilte fish at night, it already became night is part of the day. Then it stayed overnight, the whole Friday night it stayed over. It should become possible, according to what you just told me. Omar Rava b'shekadim v'silik says Rava, okay, I'll get out of it. It's talking about that the day before, on this calendar, the last day on the calendar of Shabbos, on Friday he took off all the breads. He took them off. He put them like where they are. Oh well, no, this is on the shulchan. He took them out, so they didn't become puzzle from the shulchan on Friday night because they weren't on the shulchan Friday night. It's a little bit doichak. The lechem remained on the table the entire time. He didn't take it off. Given the sidra, since he put it on the table on the wrong day on Sunday instead of on Shabbos, naso kimi shesidrei hakoif. It's literally as if a monkey did it. In other words, when you do something wrong, it's not you didn't do so. It's the same thing if it happened by itself. Same thing as if a monkey did it. So you didn't do the right thing. So maybe it doesn't become puzzle the night before. Check this out. I think you're gonna have a lot of
Cut!
Did we get it?
Yes, that was perfect. Now change into an elephant costume and we'll film the video of Pilsha Balak Fifa Mitzrit.
Zog the Mishnah. So you always eat the shtei alechem minimum 2 days after it's baked. Why? Because you have to bake it before Yontiv. You're not allowed to bake. Now we all know that you're allowed to cook on Yontiv. Everybody cooks on Yontiv, but not for the Beis Hamikdash. There's a mandama that says you can't bake for the Beis Hamikdash. It's lochem, it's for you, but not for Beis Hamikdash purposes. So anything that has to do with the Beis Hamikdash, he holds. You have to bake before Yontif. So Mamela, you're always eating the shtei alechem the following day, which is 2 days. Never more than 3 days. You never eat the bread 3 days after it's baked. Keitzad, how does it work? Never is Merav Yontif. You bake it before Yontif. Again, it's not doichi Yontif. Necholis b'Yontif l'shnayim. So then you eat it on the second day. Chal Yontif l'Yisachar Shabbos. But what if? I believe this year Shavuos is on a Friday. No, okay, no. Okay, so what if Chali is Achar Shabbos? Yontif Shavuos is on a Sunday. Now you can't bake on a Shabbos, obviously. So you're going to bake on a Friday. So Meila Nechalis L'Shloishas, you're going to be eating it 3 days later. Lechem Apanim. What about the Lechem Nechal Ein Pagas Metisha? Again, Lechem Apanim you put on the table on Shabbos and you eat it on Shabbos. So that's 8 days. You always bake it before Shabbos on every Shabbos. That's 9 days. Never more than 11. Keitzad, how? Never Shabbos, never Shabbos. The normal is you bake it on a Friday, you eat it on Shabbos. That's 9 days later. But what if this is a Yontif on a Friday? So now you have to bake it before Yontif, so now you have 10 days. What about if it's a 2-day Yontif? It happened, it fell out on a Thursday and a Friday. So now you can't bake on Rosh Hashanah, so you bake before Rosh Hashanah. So now, a little bit of a problem. You're going to eat it on 11 days. Everybody knows. What's 11 days after Rosh Hashanah? Yom Kippur. So how are you going to eat on Yom Kippur? Says Rashi, eat it on Yom Kippur, Matzah Yom Kippur. But isn't Matzah Yom Kippur considered the 12th day? It's already the 12th day. So he says, no, when it comes to Kachim, the day goes, the night goes after the day, which we said before that the day goes after the night. Okay. Baking of the bread of the lechem upon the shnei alechem doesn't push off Shabbos, doesn't push off Yontif. You could bake bread on Shabbos and on Yontif. Why? Because it's a chol nefesh. I don't agree with you that you're not allowed to bake for the Beis Hamikdash. But it doesn't push off Yom Kippur. Omer Avina. According to you, that you say if you hold it, you're not allowed to bring a shlamim ha'oila on Yontif. Why? Because there's a machlokes. There's a concept called if I'm allowed to bring a carbon because I have to, so then I'll bring also if I don't have to. I'll bring a shlamim, I'll bring a oila. But he holds no, you can't do it. What you have to bring on Yontif, you bring, but what you don't, Bring your don't say it was a Gzer D'Rabbanan. Now what? I said I'm going to bring a shlamim. So what do? I know that my family's coming for Pesach, massive sudas, 30 people sudas. So I push off my nedavos all the way to Pesach. I shechted on Pesach. And then no, don't do that. Why? Shemayasha. You're going to get something's going to happen. You're going to get a flat tire, and then you won't bring it on Pesach. So maybe that's why Rabbanan said don't do it. You should know the Torah says don't bring it on Pesach. Don't bring it on a Yontif. This Nadava. Why? Prove it from our Mishnah. What about the two breads? You have to bring it on Shavuos. And then there's no problem, maybe you'll get stuck. This is the Beis HaMikdash we're talking about. Viktani, and it still says, you can't bake it on Shabbos and Yontif. So Mela even think so kolchke in something that's in a dava you shouldn't bring on Yontif and bake on Yontif. Hadran aloch shtei alechem. Hadran aloch shtei alechem. Hadran aloch shtei alechem. Have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDY.com.